So let's place the scene. November 4th, 2008. The financial system is having a very public heart attack. 2 wars are dragging on, and a skinny law professor from Illinois with a name that sounds like a Bond villain's alias just won the presidency.
And the energy was electric. Obama rallies felt like a fucking fish show, but with hope instead of patchouli.
I remember the exact moment I realized the hype was real. I'm in a dive bar in San Antonio. Place smells like old Bud Light and regret. They've got a single CRT TV mounted in the corner. Screen is convex, bad reception. Grant Park speech comes on. And this crusty biker dude next to me, bald, tattoos, looks like he eats nails for breakfast. He starts crying. Full-on tears.
The biker or you?
Both of us. It was that genuine. The relief that we weren't going to be a failed state for another 4 years was palpable.
But let's not forget the context. Obama inherited an economy shedding 800,000 jobs a month. The banking system was held together with TARP and prayer. The public wanted a savior. And they got one. Or they got the vibes of one. But here's the trap. The sheer overwhelming relief of not being George W. Bush made everyone stop asking hard questions.
The vibes were immaculate. That was the whole problem.
Everyone was so high on yes we can, they forgot to ask, should we? We stopped looking at the substance. We just inhaled the brand.
So what should we have been asking? What did we miss?
We missed the part where hope is just a marketing strategy when you don't actually plan to nationalize the banks. We missed the part where the machine was already being enshittified. Dr. O's word, now official, thanks 2024. And we were just happy the guy saying it sounded like a jazz poet on NPR.
Wait. What's your take? Was the hope real, or was it just a good album?
The hope was a hologram, but the hangover was solid state. Also, try the chicken.
There you go. Solid state hangover. That's the thesis.
Because the trap snapped shut the moment the relief wore off. We forgot that every era of good vibes gets exploited. The banks got bailed out. The wars kept grinding. And we got a few years of feeling smart before the backlash built the Hellscape Web 2.0 that we're all drowning in now.
Right. And that's when the hard part started. That's when we realized hope doesn't pay rent. But hey, let's take a break, sell some mattress ads, and then come back and explain how we all got conned by a feeling. Cut to commercial. This episode of the Obama Hangover is brought to you by Bounce Back Mattresses, because you deserve a good night's sleep after spending the day realizing your 401k is basically a donation to a hedge fund.
Bounce Back? Is that the one that sent me a bed in a box that was the size of a smart car and then charged me a $40 environmental recovery fee to haul the plastic away?
Bounce Back. The only mattress that's been enshittified before you even lie down. Our proprietary crush foam technology compresses your hopes into a 5-inch slab of petrochemical regret. Pause. But available now for 0% APR for 18 months. Beat. Which, mathematically guarantees we're raising your rate to 27% next quarter.
Or you could try Dinner Deconstructed, the meal kit service that promises chef-curated ingredients. And by that, they mean a single carrot that's been in a refrigerated truck for 11 days. I got a kit last week. The recipe card had a QR code that linked to a 404 page.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, the chicken was fine, but the sustainable dill was a sprig of plastic parsley from a toy kitchen set. I'm pretty sure the artisanal salt packet was just crushed up Doritos.
The only subscription service where the price goes up and the portion size goes down. It's like watching a tech startup's enshittification arc, but you get to eat it. Start your journey of diminishing returns today.
Speaking of astroturfing, I checked the reviews for Bounce Back on Reddit. 47 accounts, all created on the same Tuesday, all writing novellas about back pain relief.
Don't worry. The Streisand effect will take care of it. The CEO will try to hide the bad Yelp reviews, and suddenly we'll all be Googling bounce back class action lawsuit by next week.
I am Morgan Freeman. I slept on a bounce back. I now have the structural integrity of a wet croissant.
There it is. Even Morgan Freeman is cynical about the foams.
All right, that's 30 seconds of soul-crushing consumerism. We're back in 60 seconds to explain how the hope of 2008 got sold to a Chinese AI company for parts.
Don't change the channel. Or do. Honestly, the ad break is probably the most honest part of the show.
So here's the thing about the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the 2009 stimulus. It was a compromise before the foundation was even poured. They handed the blueprints to a committee of realtors and said, make it palatable.
Palatable. Yeah, nothing says economic emergency like shaving $200 billion off the top to win over 3 Republican senators who still voted no. The number was $831 billion. Sure, sounds huge, but 2/3 of that was tax cuts and patching up state budgets so teachers didn't get fired. Actual direct spending, shovels in the ground, trains on tracks, was maybe $250 billion. Pathetic.
And meanwhile, Xi Jinping, back in 2009, still consolidating power, watching us flop around like a fish on a dock, China does a 4 trillion yuan stimulus. State-owned banks just start handing cash to provincial governments for high-speed rail. They built 25,000 kilometers of track in 5 years. We got a tax rebate and a bridge to nowhere in Delaware.
Right. FDR's New Deal? It was embarrassing. It was inefficient. It built the Hoover Dam. It employed 3 million people. We got the Cash for Clunkers program, which was basically a government-subsidized trip to the car dealership for people who already had cars.
And you know why? Because Obama's entire governing philosophy was me scandal, bipartisanship first. They were so scared of looking like socialists that they governed like Republicans with better syntax. Larry Summers and Tim Geithner ran the show, 2 guys who believed in the efficiency of markets about as sincerely as an alcoholic believes in moderation.
Meanwhile, the Tea Party sees the opening. The populist backlash to TARP and the bank bailouts was real. People were right to be angry. But instead of let's tax the banks and build public housing, it got funneled into we're losing our country to brown people and bureaucrats.
Yeah, the astroturfing. So much astroturfing. Freedom Works, the Kochs, they see a million pissed off, laid off electricians and go, you know who's really your enemy? The guy at the DMV. And it worked. Class consciousness died on the floor of a town hall meeting in 2009.
We had a chance, a real chance. We could have built a social democratic safety net. Medicare for all, universal pre-K, a job guarantee. Instead, we got the Affordable Care Act, a Rube Goldberg machine of private insurance subsidies that convinced a generation that healthcare reform means arguing about deductibles on the phone for 3 hours.
And then we all went on Facebook to complain about it. Thanks, Obama. Thanks for nothing. 140 characters of hot take while scrolling past an ad for a teeth whitening kit.
The government tried to hide the data, and now we're all looking at it. Classic Streisand effect in the age of algorithmic virality.
Thank you, Morgan. Very cool, very normal.
That's the thing. The real poison wasn't in the policy. It was in your pocket. You held up your phone and the algorithm fed you rage about the stimulus being too big or too small. And you argued with a guy in Michigan for 4 hours instead of organizing. The enshittification of the economy started in 2009, but the enshittification of your attention span, that was the real finish line.
So the stimulus failed. The Tea Party won. and we all logged on. And now we're here, arguing about OAuth protocols while the economy burns.
But the next segment? That's when the platform really starts to gorge on its own users. We built the Hellscape. Then we paid for the privilege of living in it.
Don't go anywhere. Or do. Honestly, watching a Japanese train run on time is probably more fulfilling than this show.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This segment is brought to you by Coral, the only cryptocurrency exchange built on the bleeding edge of vibes.
Oh, here we go.
Coral isn't just an exchange. It's a community-verified, zero-touch, OAuth-enabled wallet for the post-hope economy. You know how Japan's railways split apart and somehow still work? It's like that, but for losing money.
Wait. You're telling me the pitch is it's as reliable as Japanese trains, but for crypto? That's your hook?
I'm just reading the copy, man. They also claim to have solved enshittification by using a proprietary proof of cynicism algorithm. Every time you make a trade, the platform audibly sighs.
And what happens if I want to withdraw my life savings?
You don't. You stake it into their Hellscape loyalty program, which gives you NFTs of low-engagement blue sky posts. Current floor price? 32 likes from benjaminkabak.com.
Jesus Christ. So it's astroturfing, but for your retirement account.
Exactly. Coral, where the Streisand effect meets your 401k.
Let's get a second opinion. Hey, soundboard, what do you think? Should I dump my remaining hope into this swap?
I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. Please refer to the terms of service, which you agreed to while the economy was burning.
See? Verified. It's got personality.
That's not personality. That's a tech bro arguing about OAuth protocols while Rome burns.
Welcome to Web 2.0, baby. And now, back to the show, where we watch the platform gorge itself on its own user base. Right, so we've done the stimulus, we've done the hangover. Now we have to talk about the device that made the hangover permanent, the iPhone. 2007, the App Store. 2008. By 2010, you're looking at a screen in a bar instead of talking to the person next to you. And the Obama years? Those were the quiet years. That's when they figured out how to build the cage.
You're being too generous. It wasn't a cage. It was a lab. They didn't know what they were building. Zuckerberg thought he was making a digital yearbook. He accidentally made a neural interface for grievance. And Obama? The guy was the last analog president. He gave speeches in front of crowds. He had a teleprompter. Meanwhile, in Cairo in 2009, he's doing a big outreach to the Muslim world. And Facebook is already being used to organize. Within 2 years, that organizing turns into Tahrir Square. Within 4 years, that momentum is weaponized by ISIS recruitment algorithms. Same pipeline.
Let's not skip ahead. You have to appreciate the pacing. 2011, Occupy Wall Street, the first fully social media mediated protest movement. People live streaming from Zuccotti Park. And it's powerful. It's real. It's about income inequality. But it's also content. It's happening for the feed. And the feed loves it. So what happens? Nothing. The movement dissipates. But the method, the viral call to action, the memeified grievance, that gets adopted by everyone else. By 2014, the same techniques are being used to sell supplements, and by the alt-right.
Hold on. David Cameron, 2015. The guy wins a surprise majority. He's feeling himself. So what does he do? He calls a referendum on Europe to settle his own party's infighting. Arrogance, pure and simple. And the Leave campaign, the official one, the unofficial one, they go straight to Facebook. They don't buy billboards, they micro-target. They find the 2% of undecided voters in marginal constituencies and they pump them full of take back control and $350 million a week for the NHS. It's the first major electoral victory for algorithmic propaganda. And the worst part? No one in government even understood what had hit them until it was over.
And what did we do about it? Nothing. Because the machine was already built. We optimized for engagement. We built a global communication network that rewards the most extreme takes. Congratulations! We invented a machine that turns every grievance into content. It doesn't matter if it's Brexit. It doesn't matter if it's a Knicks parade having more people than 7 states. It's all just fuel.
And Obama was the last president who didn't know how to use it to his advantage. By the time he did, by the time he went on Between Two Ferns to sell the ACA, it was too late. The architecture was already owned by the worst people. The Streisand effect? That's just the natural state of things now. The government tries to hide a data set, and we all look at it. Congratulations, you've been Streisanded. It's not even a tactic anymore. It's a weather pattern.
And the platforms? They're in full enshittification mode. Cory Doctorow coined that word, and now it's in the dictionary. Because nothing says 2024 like watching Twitter mutate into an X-shaped corpse, Reddit sell its own users to Google for a bag of cash, and Facebook become a retirement home for boomer rage posts about immigrants and pride parades. Every platform is eating itself.
Let's check the feed. Hey, Bailey Zapp, you've been quiet. What do you think? Was David Cameron the original architect of the Brexit disaster, or just a useful idiot for a machine he didn't understand?
I think Cameron got a raw deal. He had nice hair. He vaped once. History will be kinder to him than the algorithms were.
See? Even the soundboard has a hotter take than we do. But that's the problem. The algorithms flatten everything. The nuance is gone. David Cameron vaped one time, and that's his whole legacy. Meanwhile, Brexit is still happening, the UK is a mess, and the only thing that survives is the meme.
Look at this Blue Sky post from Anil Dash. A Knicks parade had more people than 7 whole states combined, and the media's selective outrage tells you everything about their agenda. Right, because now every event is a culture war data point. You can't just be happy for the Knicks. No. The parade's attendance is evidence of media bias. Everything is AstroTurf now. Corporations have been faking popularity since before you were born. But now, every sincere moment gets read as a psyop.
And that paranoia is earned, because the pipeline is perfect. Arab Spring gives us the organizing tool. Occupy gives us the meme template. ISIS gives us the radicalization funnel. Brexit gives us the electoral proof of concept. Trump walks through the open door. And we're all just sitting here, arguing about OAuth protocols for model context protocols on Hacker News while the economy burns.
So what's the conclusion? That Obama was the last president who had a relationship with the public that wasn't mediated by a platform? That we've been in a 15-year-long beta test for a machine that's now fully operational?
That's the thesis. And the final piece, the one that makes it unstoppable? Foreign policy. We built this thing to turn every grievance into content. We never thought about the Chinese firewall or Russian bots or Iranian influence operations. We assumed everyone would play by the rules. But the machine doesn't care about borders. It just wants you to react. And that's the transition.
Right. Because complacency wasn't just a domestic problem. It was foreign policy too. And we're about to find out exactly how much that cost the world. This segment is brought to you by seltzer. It's seltzer water. It's not craft. It's not artisanal. It's just fucking seltzer. We drink it because tap water is morally bankrupt now.
Wait, is that the whole pitch? Just we're not tap water?
It's carbonated. It's in a can. It doesn't pretend to solve your loneliness. Honestly, it's more honest than this entire conversation we just had about the Obama years.
Bold positioning. Seltzer. It's not going to fix Web 2.0. I'd still rather drink the seltzer than look at another Blue Sky thread. Speaking of, did you see that Anil Dash post? 213 likes for pointing out a Knicks parade had more people than 7 states? Groundbreaking. The media's agenda. We get it.
Yeah, that's the real story of 2024. Basketball fans outnumber Vermont. Meanwhile, Japan privatized its trains, and they actually work. Boring, functional transit. No drama, no astroturfing, just rails.
Don't you dare bring that functional energy into this cynical safe space. We're here to be miserable. Speaking of misery, enshittification is now an official word. You know you've reached peak decay when the dictionary agrees that everything's been gutted.
I think the seltzer tastes like hope, but only if hope was flat and slightly metallic.
We're putting that on the can. What about the Streisand effect thing? Government tried to hide a data set. Now the entire internet is combing through it. Classic algorithmic cell phone. They built a machine that feeds on secrets, and they're shocked it ate theirs.
No, we're going to act shocked? Please. Every platform is gorging on its own user base before dying. That's just Tuesday. The real question is, are you seltzer or are you tap water? Choose your fighter.
I'm the seltzer. Obviously. I have bubbles, and I'm pretending to be important. That's the American way.
Perfect ad read. 10 seconds of sincerity, then back to the grind. Download seltzer. Or don't. The machine doesn't care. It just wants you to react. All right, deep breath. We're going from hope to hangover. Segment 7. The world moves on. She, Cameron, and the failure of liberal order. Episode title, The Obama Hangover. Hope, hangovers, and the Hellscape Web 2.0 built. Cynical? Obviously. I'm your host, and I'm making the case that the post-Cold War end of history consensus was already flatlining by 2008. Banking crisis, 2 unwinnable wars, but Obama's election gave it a temporary respirator. Which brings me to my main point. We were all so busy crying hope that we forgot to check the patient's pulse.
Oh, the pulse was thready. But let me zoom out for you, because you're being too kind to the Obama era. 2012, Xi Jinping becomes paramount leader. By 2013, he's consolidating power, launching the Belt and Road Initiative, and watching the U.S. withdraw from Iraq and Afghanistan. Meanwhile, David Cameron's coalition government cuts austerity to the bone. The EU stumbles through the Eurozone crisis. And in the United States, we are having a national conversation about whether the president was born in Hawaii. I mean, that's where our bandwidth went.
While we were arguing about birtherism, the Chinese Communist Party was planning the next 50 years. David Cameron was giving a speech about the caliphate of ISIS and a more muscular foreign policy, and then losing a referendum he didn't have to call. It's like watching someone start a campfire with gasoline and then complain that their eyebrows are gone.
The liberal international order didn't collapse. It got bored. It got distracted. It got on Twitter. And now we're here. The hangover lasted a decade, and the headache is just getting started. I mean, look at what's happening right now, in 2024. The government tries to hide data? Streisand effect. Now we're all looking at it. Algorithmic virality is the town square, and the town square is on fire.
And let's not forget the enshittification of every platform. Cory Doctorow's term is now officially a word, because nothing says 2024 like watching every platform gorge itself on its own user base before dying. I saw you on Blue Sky earlier, Host A. You were liking some low-engagement drive-by hot take that had no data or wider cultural resonance.
It was a Knicks parade post. Look, AnilDash.com pointed out that a Knicks parade had more people than 7 whole states combined, and the media's selective outrage tells you everything about their agenda. I'm just saying, maybe we should have been paying attention to the parade instead of the platform. But no, we're addicted.
We're going to act shocked? Please. Every platform is gorging on its own user base before dying. That's just Tuesday. The real question is, are you seltzer or are you tap water? Choose your fighter.
I'm the seltzer, obviously. I have bubbles, and I'm pretending to be important. That's the American way.
Perfect ad read. 10 seconds of sincerity, then back to the grind. Download Seltzer. Or don't. The machine doesn't care. It just wants you to react.
Speaking of reactions, let's ask the soundboard. Soundboard, what's your take? Did the liberal order collapse, or did it just get distracted by a trending hashtag?
The liberal order is a meme. It's dead. Move on. Subscribe to my OnlyFans for geopolitical takes.
There it is. Even the AI is more cynical than we are. Listen, when your fake celebrity endorsement is calling out the death of international norms, you know we've hit rock bottom. But here's the thing. The hangover isn't just the headache. It's the shame. It's the realization that we chose to be distracted. We chose to argue about OAuth protocols. Yes, I saw the zero-touch OAuth for MCP on HN, while the economy burned.
And while tech bros argued about OAuth, Japan's railways actually still worked after privatization. Boring, right? MIT nerds built an OS to study chips. Terminally academic. Meanwhile, we're here, arguing about feelings about feelings. The world moved on without us. She built a road, Cameron lost a referendum, and we're still trying to figure out if the president was born in a place that starts with H.
Welcome to the hangover. It's been a decade. The headache is just getting started. Seamless transition to the next segment. So, here we are, the bottom of the 7th, or the top of the 9th. I don't know. I'm bad at baseball metaphors. But I do know that the Knicks parade apparently had more people than 7 entire states combined. And I'm supposed to care about that because that's what the algorithm wants me to care about.
My dad died in 2019, February. He was a Republican, voted for Reagan twice, voted for Obama once, then voted for Trump. I think he was trying to tell me something, but I was too busy retweeting Pod Save America clips to listen.
2019, the year everything felt like it was breaking. Before the pandemic, before the insurrection, before the AI that's writing our show notes. That year feels like a lifetime ago, because it was a different lifetime. Different media ecosystem, different economic reality, different country. We had a president who still pretended norms mattered.
Obama feels like a fever dream now. Like I genuinely have to remind myself that he was president, that I waited in line for 8 hours in Chicago to see him speak, that I cried. I'm not proud of it, but I cried.
You cried at a rally. I put a bumper sticker on my 1998 Honda Civic. We were young. We were stupid. We thought hope was a strategy.
The thing is, Obama was a good president. He was dealt a bad hand. Financial crisis, 2 wars, a Congress that decided no was a legislative strategy. He played it about as well as you could. But the game was rigged from the start. And the people who built the rig, they got richer. Way richer.
While we argued about memes, about whether a dress was blue or gold, about OAuth protocols, about which celebrity said what on which platform, the structural problems that caused the 2008 crash, they're worse now. Inequality? Worse. Financialization? Worse. Regulatory capture? Laughably worse. The only difference is that nobody believes in solutions anymore.
Remember when we thought the Dodd-Frank Act was going to fix things? Remember when we thought the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was going to be a permanent check on power? I saw a clip the other day of Elizabeth Warren in 2011 talking about how we needed to bring back Glass-Steagall. And I thought, God, we were so naive. We thought policy could save us.
Policy doesn't save you when the people writing the policy are the same people who broke the system. Look at the Streisand effect thing. Government tried to hide some data. Now we're all looking at it. Classic. In the age of algorithmic virality, Censorship is just a marketing budget. And the platforms? Cory Doctorow called it. And shitification is officially a word now. Because nothing says 2024 like watching every platform gorge itself on its own user base before dying.
I think about Japan. Japan privatized its railways, and they actually still work. Boring, reliable, functional. Meanwhile, our infrastructure is crumbling. Our healthcare costs more than a mortgage, and we're having a national conversation about whether an OAuth protocol for MCP is zero-touch enough. The MIT nerds built an OS to study chips. Terminally academic. But at least they're doing something.
The Blue Sky guy. What's his name? The one who wrote about the minor league baseball Pride Night drama. One brave guy versus a bunch of bigoted teammates. And it got 161 likes. That's it. That's the discourse now. A guy being brave for wearing a rainbow hat is the most discussed thing on the platform that was supposed to save us from Twitter? Low engagement, low effort, high cynicism.
Soundboard celeb? What do you think?
Hope is not a plan, and we stopped planning. That's the hangover.
There it is. Even the dead president knows. Look, I'm not saying the Obama years were perfect. I'm saying they were a different country. A country where we still believed that facts mattered, that institutions could be reformed, that the next election would fix everything.
And the hangover is realizing that none of that was true. That the same structural problems are still there. That the people who got rich off the crash are still rich. That the people who got foreclosed on are still renting. That we spent a decade arguing about memes while the world moved on without us.
She built a road. Cameron lost a referendum. And we're still here, trying to figure out if the president was born in some place that doesn't matter.
Thanks for listening. Go touch grass. Or don't. The algorithm will still be here when you get back.
It's always waiting.